Ronaldo, a.k.a. Mad Dog. And with me, of course, is the amazing David Santos, a.k.a. Dream Twister.
Am I the amazing Spider-Man?
You are the amazing, spectacular, and colorful. Spider-Man. We'll call that, yeah.
I got a song. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, take a dump in a coffee can.
Oh, shit. Nice. I actually like that one. That's almost as good as the Batman.
The Batman. Jingle bells, Batman smell, yes. Robin later.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys. If this is your first time listening, this is actually a bonus portion of our podcast.
This is a bonus.
This is going to be all about the PlayStation's awesome title, Spider-Man. It came out earlier this year. Oh.
It's called Marvel's Spider-Man.
Oh, excuse me, Marvel's
There you
Spider-Man.
go. Put it proper because...
I'm sorry, Marvel's Spider-Man. So
my Marvel's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
So question, right off the bat.
Yes.
If you organize your games in alphabetic order, do you put it under the M or do you put it under the S?
I would put it under the M because there's a hyphen.
Because it's...
Yes.
Wait, because there's a hyphen?
Yes, right.
For man?
Before Spider.
No.
Or after Spider, yeah. Before
I'm thinking
man, yeah.
because I was thinking because I thought you were gonna say because the name is Marvel's Spider-Man.
Oh no, Marvel's is not in that.
Yes, it is. That's
I know
the
it
name.
is.
Yeah.
Not in my library. Oh. When you look at the side of the box,
yeah,
it's just gonna say Spider-Man.
The spine it says Spider-Man.
Yeah, there you go. So we are going to spoil the shits out of this game. So if you have not played this game, what the hell are you doing?
For you.
Yeah, first off,
Stop
go
listening.
play the damn game and then come back and listen to this. If you don't mind spoilers, then hey, hang along
you're
with
welcome,
us,
and kind of envy you.
Yeah, me too. I kind of do too.
Or pity you. I haven't decided which one.
I'm going to go with envy because I wish I didn't care about spoilers. I used to not care about spoilers, but now it's your fault. I blame you.
I like being surprised. That's the thing.
Blame you.
I like it, even if it's a game that I know I'm not gonna play. Just the mere fact that maybe I could play it in the future. I don't want to be spoiled.
It's unbelievable. But there's a line at some point, but we'll discuss that at a later podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So this is your last warning, guys, because we are really going to go into it right now, and we're in it. There you go.
So man, when the Avengers showed at the end of that,
amazing.
It is amazing.
And when Aunt May turned out to be Mysterio, I did not see that coming.
And suddenly all the people that disappeared on the Avengers movie appeared here. So they were transforming the game. So exactly. I thought it was I was
like, man, that really solved the Marvel problem.
I know, yeah. And that's not the spoilers of this game whatsoever.
Not even close.
No. All right, serious now. So
realistically, sir, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I was gonna try to do this in a sort of an order, an order of events.
No, it's hard. That's difficult because.
But no, I need to jump to that end, sir.
Okay. Well,
fuck that shit. We're jumping to the end.
No,
sir.
wait, because I feel like I need to explain something.
Okay.
I enjoyed the game quite a whole lot. That said, this is not in any way whatsoever the perfect game or anything like that. This is just the best game that I've played. This year on a year of many amazing games, and if Spider-Man has something for it was the fact that me as not a huge fan of the Spider, I was okay with the hero, but it was more like the reason I wanted to get this game was because it looked gorgeous. It was more the graphics. I was more impressed with the graphics and with the opportunity of playing and seeing this game HDR 4K. Every time I saw the screenshots, they will always show, the spider costume will have like details of the fabric that it was made of, and it was just too ridiculous. And I want to let you talk about the ending in a minute.
Hey, do what you got to do.
I just need to preface this because just so she goes to show that my favorite hero is Batman, and I like superhero. Yeah, my favorite superhero is Batman, and I like the Batman games to some extent, except for Arkham Knight. So even though I like the story of Arcanine, I did not like the gameplay. So on this one, I was going with the expectation that it was going to be all graphics. But the moment I started seeing the game and I started seeing how open worldy it was, and it was the open world that we hate, not the open world that will have you at least a little focus on what you need to do. No, this is the open world where it's just a vomit ton of icons and it will distract you from the main story, storyline, which it did in a lot of occasions. A lot of occasions.
That is definitely one of my complaints. Yeah, one of my nitpicks on it. And it's funny because at first it didn't really bother me. I was amazed how much it did bother, because normally that type of game don't like.
Yeah, you don't.
I just avoid 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a sandbox game? Nope. I'm out. However, I still like Spider-Man. It's a property. Yeah. I like Spider-Man. I think we had a discussion, not on the air, but we had a discussion before where you were shocked that I was like, yeah, I like Spider-Man just as much as I like Batman. Sometimes, and in some cases, even more. But
that was the shocking part.
Yeah, that was the shocking part. Because you almost hit me. But what is this madness?
Somebody had to know some sense into you. It's like suddenly, wait a minute, you're putting Spider-Man on the same level as Batman.
But yeah, exactly.
It's kind of justified.
But realistically, at some point it did those icons, even though they didn't bother me at first, they started to kind of weigh on me a little bit. Yeah. That is an element in there that it's unavoidable because it's the type of game it is. I would argue and say that it does not overextend its welcome. It's not 300 things you need to do. It's you do 50 of this, 10 of these, 20 of these, you know what I mean? And each one also tends to have a carrot at the end of the stick that really you get something, for completing.
If you're interested,
usually most of the time it's a suit, and I think for the most part, the new suits. I think that was the perfect thing to put at the end of the stick, is to say, I want that new suit.
Yeah,
I want to try it out, see what it has, especially if it has a specific power. Yeah. Which was genius, by the way, to include all these individual little powers on top of that,
on top of all the different suits,
on top of the suits. Yeah. And then not link them to the suits. That was even more special, because it's like, okay, well, I don't want to wear this suit, but I kind of want the power.
I don't want to look silly, but I love the power that he has.
Correct, exactly. So
that was very smart.
That was very smart on Insomniac. So Insomniac, man, my hat's off to you guys. You clearly know what the hell you guys are doing with gaming. I am so sad that Sunset Overdrive did not light it up for you.
It was a game that it did not receive the love that it should have, because and it's not to say that I will put it on par with Spider-Man. Obviously, we're talking about two different things here, but it is a very they know how to do traversal fun.
To do games, man.
They know how to do traversal fun.
Yeah.
And that was a game where the traversal was fantastic. And seeing it in Spider-Man was yet another of the reasons that got me, okay, let me try it, let me play it. As recent as last week, I was on this very podcast saying, hey man, I'm having fun, but I don't feel like the story is grabbing me. I'm a little concerned. And I feel that because of the way the game is made, and I'm not saying this could have been avoided in any particular way or necessarily that it's a huge hit, but the story develops a little bit too slow, and I feel like I'll give you an example. Of course, you need to have the set where it introduces this version of Spider-Man. Of course, you have to give you what they are. It opens.
Explain what's going on.
Explain what's going on. Yeah, it opens very well with the Fisk mission. It immediately sets you up to he's like
beautiful opening.
That was a great way of starting it. After you're done with the Fisk portion, it sort of sets an expectation that okay, so this this villains that I'm going to be eventually finding out, they're sort of going to be like that level, of not that short, but it's going to be something simple to tackle. They're not going to spend almost 70% of the game into this one villain who I don't feel he's that strong of a villain.
Which is, I mean, we can speak openly about it. So it's was it Mr. Negative?
Look,
Martin Lee.
We can't even, Mr. Negative. Yeah.
Which, I mean, is apparently a character. He's one of the newer characters. I don't really know him from
I don't remember if it's ever been a canonical Spider-Man, I thought he was built for this game.
Because people seem to, when I was listening to a lot of other reviews and other talks about it, people seem to know who he was. Oh, that's Mr. Negative. I was like, I've never heard of him. You know what I mean?
Well, we could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. I thought he was just built for this game.
But the thing and if he was, it fell a little short.
It was, I thought it was cool. I think that was a missed opportunity here to reveal him because, at first, the first time that you encounter Mr. Lee, I have no idea that was going to be the bad guy, and those are the reveals that I really enjoy. The ones where oh shoot, look who he was. But of course, they need to show. They showed the face of the villain is basically the same character. Literally, if you ever take a picture and you see the negative of the picture, and you see the color, the opposing colors, whatever is white is black, and it does that. That was his design, and not only that, but he always wore a suit that was perfectly tailored and will never get damaged or messed up, even on the roughest battles that he will have. Yeah. And with all that power overflowing, I know this is nitpicky territory, but it just goes to say, I was not impressed at all with his design. His particular design, because he's not the only villain that shows. He's just the one that they decided to spend the more time of. So if they would have put a mask, something to hide his identity, something where suddenly you see who he is and you're like, and then it's revealing, or not having be the thing that tipped me off before I even saw Mr. Negative was the point where Spider-Man talks about or Peter Parker is looking for, what was it? Was it a key or was it
the mask? He brought the mask.
Oh, he brought the mask. Yeah, he brought the mask, and he immediately got defensive, you should not be pursuing this. You shouldn't mess with this guy. And then at the other point where it's like he's almost does that. I have to go.
Really on the nose.
It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. So for me, that was okay. That's essentially the setup for many of these things.
Which, by the way, who does
Martin Lee? What about
Martin Lee? Put it in perspective. He was what? He was who and where he was?
He was heading up Feast, and Feast was sort of a shelter for homeless
like a
people. And a rehab place. Did a lot of things for help, basically.
Yeah,
Aunt May worked there. Peter also volunteered there, and it was a great addition to the game. It was like, because I don't know if you ever walked through the hallways of Feast. You just listen to conversation. They would call, "Hey Peter, how's it going?" And Peter would be like, "Hey, how's such and such? How you doing?
How's your daughter?
And it was like so well done. So the world felt really well designed, and the story was definitely done. But as far as Martin goes, the problem that I had with him was I didn't have any sympathy for him because until much later, and it was a little too late by the time the reveal actually happens, where it turns out that what he has is he's the victim of an experiment that was done by Norman Osborn, and that's why he hates Osborn. So the whole time I'm going, why does he hate Osborn? There's nothing pointing to it. Like, I guess there's something going on, but maybe you can immediately point the fingers there, but you don't see what actually happens so much later. And at that point, it was too late. I didn't care anymore because I was like, he's just some crazy dude who wants to do crazy stuff. Yeah.
And it got revealed at the point where all the other villains that you have a better knowledge of, they're already out. They're already about. So at this point, he's just one more guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not really the main guy of the story, like it's led to believe.
Yeah, it looks like he was supposed to be the main crux of the story.
Yeah.
Now, the main villain. Now, the main villain
that was fucking fantastic. And out there to call it revealed, but it obviously how this is happening.
Well, here's the question. The question you don't know what's going to happen here. For the record, we're spoiling this. So the main villain is actually Doc Ock, also known as Dr. Octavius.
His friend.
He's absolute friend.
Yeah.
The one he idolizes in a certain way. Peter Parker idolizes because of his mind, because of his genius, because of everything he wants to do.
Because he cares about helping people. All his projects are to help.
Exactly. He literally is exactly what Peter Parker wants to be.
Which is a great take, because I don't know. I'm not sure if that has been the story of the lore of the lore of Spider-Man or on the comics or anything like that, but I absolutely love what they did there, because suddenly I care. Like for example, you start seeing there's a part where you start seeing his little by little transformation, or you start seeing, these are welding pants, that I just bought for this.
Yes,
and these are the goggles, and it's like, oh god, and they're green.
The welding pants it was like a welding suit, whatever. And I was like, oh my god,
you know where this is going little by little, and it breaks your heart, because their relationship is so good. It's almost like a father and son.
The voice acting here, guys, is top notch between Peter and Octavius.
And the lip sync.
Lip sync absolutely. And the facial animation.
The facial animation,
so well done. When you knew when Peter was concerned, he was concerned. It was like, oh man. But the whole time you're also helping him, because there are the little mini missions when you're in the lab and you're putting you are the one helping create these arms.
Yeah.
And then when you see these arms in motion, you're like, everything I've done led to this. And it's like, son of a bitch, I've actually made this. I gave him the ability to do this, which is even it's an amazing the way the story is basically represented. I really dug it. I think Octavius hit the mark like perfectly. I mean, it was exactly the type of villain you want, where you feel for him. Obviously, his body's deteriorating. Who wants to be trapped in their own body without able to move? Of course, you would do anything you can to make that. And of course, when Peter finds out about the ailment, he's like, "Of course, I will help you any way possible." And then it gets to this point, and it is very heartbreaking.
It is because the problem is that this was not perfect technology. This was really good technology, because suddenly he can control this arms, which by the way, because at first he was just working on prosthetics for people that needed them. Then he was like, why should we limit the range? We should make it better. And suddenly better became this like octopus monstrosity that he had the arms that were connected directly to his brain, and that was causing and that was causing some corruption in his brain.
The moment when you see the regular arm, it's a regular metallic arm, and it's grabbing whatever, and he throws something in the air, and then it reaches out and becomes like claws,
some tentacles,
dude. The moment that happened, I was like, something's this is definitely foreboding.
Yeah, this is not gonna go well.
Yeah, that was everything with Octavius was done awesomely,
masterfully. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Miles Morales, dude. And I know he didn't have a lot to do, and I didn't really care too much for his missions, but I love the character.
Yeah.
I love what they're doing with it, and I cannot wait for the next one.
Some cool.
Obviously, they're leading to something.
Although at first I was like this wisecracking, and I think this is one of the things that it never, or until now, let's say, it had never jived with me a lot. It was this wisecracking superhero. It's always making jokes. He's a jokey superhero. Like, I didn't care much for him as a guy, like for Peter Parker. And at the beginning of the game, he was kind of like, oh man, and I can't wait. No, but listen, I can't wait until Miles takes over, because I am not feeling this guy at all. But he brings it about so strongly at the end that it's almost like I don't want Miles version to happen just yet. Yeah, this Peter Parker is really good. It's really relatable. It even says it. the reason why he acts, why he makes jokes like that, jokes all the time is because that's his natural way of dealing with some awkward situations.
Defense mechanism.
That's his defense mechanism, exactly. So it's
He's
almost
Chandler.
like you understand. Yeah,
he's Chandler. That's what it is.
Chandler, yeah.
Chandler makes jokes because he doesn't know how to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
And frankly, neither does Peter Parker. So he jokes about it real quick.
When you experience the thing that he had experienced and the life that the things that happened in his life,
dude,
sort of understand.
We need to talk about this because this is the part that really, really, really took me down a little bit.
Okay, because we can't bring it back to, and I feel that's another character that we need to talk about before we even jump there.
Okay.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Okay.
Mary Jane.
I hated this character, but at the end, I was like, sort of okay. I'm still not in love with her. This character, she was annoying because I felt like some of her choices, like I said at last week, it felt like it felt like selfish almost to an extent, and sometimes like a little out of place,
but
and
a little like, doesn't it?
And a little like crazy also, like a crazy person, because she will get involved she will put her life, in at risk for unnecessarily. I almost will say, of course, there's a reason she has a mission, but again, if you're putting your life and you're doing crazy shit like that, it's like, okay, you obviously have no disregard for life, which brands you as a crazy person.
Technically, medical dictionary say that.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, if you don't have that, but I guess I got used to her. She is.
I still think so. Here's my deal with Mary, and I think I mentioned this before on the regular podcast, and that is that I think her involvement is important. Her attitude towards what's happening is important. I know we discussed before that this is essentially, I know I mentioned before that her main problem and most likely why she broke up with Peter Parker was because of Peter Parker's, propensity for just leaving because shit's happening outside. I got to do something about it. You know what I mean? Which has always been an issue. Yeah. It's brought up to an extent here at the very beginning when they're in the restaurant where Stan Lee is, by the way.
But by the way, he makes a freaking appearance. And of course he makes an appearance.
Of course he got to make an appearance. And I was like, of course. The moment I saw it, I was like, why did I not see that coming? But what happens? They're talking, freaking police cars are rolling by, and he's like, I gotta go. And she's like, of course. You know what I mean? So that's always been an issue. She probably, obviously, in the extent of what the story tells it, it's obvious that at some point she went with, well, if I can't beat them, then join them. Mm-hmm. And what does Peter do? Well, no, you shouldn't put yourself in danger. You know what I mean? So he's constantly, trying to stop her from doing anything. Yeah. So she's like, you won't give me your time because of whatever. When I try to join you, you won't let me join you to help you out in any way. So again, what the hell do you want from me? You know what I mean?
Again, it's like, if I was in his position, I would have done her. I would have dumped her ass for being crazy because, first, he's a hero. Mm-hmm. He is every woman's one. He is what he is. And she's like, you need to save people, I guess. Yeah, so shine, leave me.
He's not indestructible either. No, he can die as well. So it's not like he's not putting his life in and just because he has the abilities.
But then in that case, why would you join him? Like, if you know that his job is dangerous, why?
If you're not there for her normally, how else can she be part of your world? You know what I mean? And it's the truth. And I was like, it's an understandable thing. That said, I still think her character in the game was okay, good, okay to good. And I would actually go the other way, good to okay.
Good to okay, yeah.
I would also argue that and say, as far as the games would go, this is probably the best.
Oh no, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Yeah. Even I will put even the movies. Especially the movies. Yeah. No, I was gonna say if my wife was Captain Marvel, if I was married to Captain Marvel, and I could only see her one time a week, literally for a few hours, I will still be okay with it because I'm married to fucking Captain Marvel. Which, for the record, I am.
Say that now. Yes, she is Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
You say that now.
Yeah.
But after time passes, it's the truth. It's the truth. You're just like, I get New York is important and all that. And this is the same scenario with cops. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's it's essentially where it stems from. Cops are cops
the military,
all the
dude.
Time.
How many,
but I'm saying
how many people are married to military and
true, and they're gone. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when you're a cop, the New York City cop, you're a New York City cop, you're a cop all the time. And especially if you're a detective, you're out there all the time dealing with whatever you have to deal with. You barely see your family. Yes, you can go, you know what, my husband or my wife, because, whatever the case may be, you know what, they're fighting the good fight. They're doing what they do. I support them 100%. 10 years down the road,
I
that
get
may
it.
not be the case.
Not everybody's like that, but people exist that are like that.
True. And people
but Mary Jane is definitely, we have already established, Mary Jane is not like that.
No, she's not like that. She is a joiner. She's like, if I can't beat him, I'm joining them. I'm going to be the partner.
She is, what she is, she's a needy, egotistical bitch.
When she and Miles joins Parker to do everything, I was just like, I was all in. This is towards the end, basically. Yeah. I was all in. I was just like, because he realized, you know what, you need help. And this probably leads to the Spideyverse that eventually comes about, because there's going to be other heroes, other main heroes in his story, which I can't wait for, dude. I cannot fucking wait for. But that said,
you're going to have to.
Yeah, evidently, yeah. That said, it was a great moment, but dude, I'm sorry, man.
All right, fine.
I'm so bummed.
Let's bring it. This is the time. This is the proper time.
So Aunt May passes away, guys.
Dude.
I was not ready for it. I saw she was sick, and then the whole thing with the antidote happened, and I'm like, okay, she's gonna be okay.
Let's talk about that, because if we're doing the spoiler cast, we have to give some
context. Well, I mean, if we're doing the spoiler cast, let's assume you know what's going on. But if you don't, the Devil's Breath.
The Devil's Breath
was released.
It was released. People in New York start getting sick. People are dying. There is just, for some reason, but as usual, just one
vial.
One vial is the antidote, and suddenly Peter Parker need to make a choice.
Decision, yes. And let me tell you, I was like so frustrated because I was like, why did you not give me this decision? I would have chose Aunt May.
Oh, no, that would not, because that would have not been a Spider-Man.
I get you. I'm just saying, I was the one controlling
unfortunately, the decision is not handed to the player because it will break canon.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was, but he basically needs to either, because Aunt May is dying as well. He can either save Aunt May right away by administering the vial, and therefore the people in New York, well, they'll have to fend for themselves, or use the vial for it to be, so they could be replicated, so that an antidote could be able. But that means Aunt May is not going to wait that long. May is going to pass away. So of course, at one point, you almost see him like, I mean, this got to be the hardest struggle, because it
has to be the hardest struggle.
She's coughing. She's almost coughing blood. He almost reaches towards the towards the IV to inject her with the serum, but he stops. He's like, oh, he knows that is the hardest decision.
That was just an amazing point. And for me, so for someone who I'm not going to say I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan or even close to the biggest Spider-Man, but I know a lot about Spider-Man. I have never.
Let's just say you had never seen Spider-Man and Lalo in the same room.
Sure. So so there's never been a moment where Aunt May wasn't there. Aunt May was the one person who the one leftover of his true family, right? And she's always been there. And I get it. I've looked into it. Apparently, she has passed away in some scenarios of the story. And obviously, she was an older woman anyway. She got to pass away at some point, right? That said, that's not what happened. She doesn't pass away from old age here. She is a victim of a terrorism, essentially. And dude, it hit me, dude. I was just like, and you know the decision because the doctor's like, look, man. And the doctor even goes, I'm going to give it to you, dude. You know what I mean? I understand, but I'm going to give it to you. You know what I mean? If that's what happens, this is all we have. And then that moment where she starts to cough and really, looks like it's like she's suffering, and he just for a moment goes, I cannot let her go. And then he realizes, no, it's not about that. It's about the city. If I am the hero of New York, and dude, we got to talk about that too. We got to talk about how
we're gonna.
That was an amazing moment. I cannot believe they went there. I would never have expected that, dude. The Activision ones would never have gone to that route.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
And it paid off perfectly. I was just dumbfounded, dude. I was like, fucking hell, I can't, I can't, dude.
When we tell you, yes, it is slow at the beginning, because you're fighting
it's laying the groundwork. You have to, if you don't know Spider-Man, maybe the groundwork is not needed or whatever. It's like that. Or actually probably more needed. You know what I mean? If you don't know.
You might know Spider-Man, but you don't know this version of Spider-Man.
Correct, exactly. So you need to have the groundwork laid out so you know who is who.
Yeah, but the thing with the demons, I lasted a little too long. Honestly,
I didn't mind the demons.
No, I'm not saying that I mind.
They had some actually very good stories, like when they were at the museum holding the hostages, and then you're playing as Mary J, and you're like, hey, take out that guy, take out this guy. That was actually really good.
That was one time I told you I don't like the Mary J's missions, except there is a really cool one.
Yeah,
that's a really cool one.
That is a very cool.
But to that point, everything was a comic book story. A regular TV story. Let's just say it was like, okay, the stakes were there, but it's not something I've never seen. It's not. It's still, it was still at a 7. Let's say.
I would argue that the Miles storyline, when that bombing happened at the
that was a big hit. That
was early on.
That was early. Yeah, that was early.
I was like, holy shit, this is like, these are suicide bombers he's doing. I'm like, they're brushing up against, current events.
But you realize how surprised we were with it. So that means that the game was not giving any indication that it was going to be there, which is great, because once you encounter that, you're like, oh shit, they really went there.
Yeah.
But then it goes back into the and now go to do these things, and you kind of like have an idea of what it is. But when shit hits the fan, which is right when you go to the mission to help the doc for the last time, and you get the doc acting the way he is, and you almost think that this is the conversion, but it doesn't really happen. He's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Actually, and then Dr. Octopus sees again. He just happens to see a. You almost think like, oh, okay, so he's not gonna become
he's fine. Yeah,
he's fine.
Oh, they'll save that for the next one.
They'll save that for the next one. But then he watches the news, and he sees Osborn's on the TV, and then he gets mad again, and then he continues working on his mission. So when the prison break-in mission happens,
that was such a good mission.
That's when it just blows like that. The game cranks it to 11, and it doesn't stop. It all the way to the credits. You are like constantly. Even the city, which is under siege, you almost see it. The destruction is almost. I don't want to call it. It's almost like a different game in the sense that I don't want to super hyperbolize more than we have been, or that I have been. But that it changes. It changes the dynamic, because no longer you can just be free flowing around the city and doing pirouettes and getting experience like that.
Now the moment you swing between some buildings, suddenly there's snipers.
There's snipers everywhere. You're getting shot from everything, because on top of that, the mercenary force that was hired by the governor to help out with the mayor. Sorry, the mayor to help quell the insurgents of the demons, and on top of that, the prisoners that escaped from the Rikers. On top of that, they're gunning you down too.
Because you're named as responsible.
Yeah, your name is responsible. So of course now you got the whole world against you, And you know that people are having a difficult time in this world, even though it's a video game where you still somehow I was still worried about the people in the city. Which is awesome.
That's the beautiful part of it. And I'm telling you that the game early on has those moments, and you don't realize how important those moments are until later on. There were, when you go to the party and you see people dress up as Spider-Man, you're like, oh man, he's a big to do guy here. New York fucking loves Spider-Man, and it shows everywhere in here. My favorite scene, and easily one of my favorite just cutscene that happens as it's loading is when I actually do take a subway from, if I'm on one end of the of Manhattan to the other, I'm like, I'm not gonna swing all the way. I'm just get there real quick. I get into a subway and just whatever. An amazing moment where you're sitting in the inside a subway, and he's chatting with some guy who's clearly cosplaying as Spider-Man, and they're just chatting. He's like laughing. You can see the guy pointing at.
Maybe he thought he was another cosplayer.
Maybe he did. Or maybe he didn't, because you don't know. The fact is, the way New York loves him in this game is so awesome. It's one of my favorite aspects of the game. The mission with the garbage truck, when he's trying to find his stuff because his shit got chucked out, and he's calling up the guy at Waste Management like, it's not,
because he lost a USB with data on something
that's happening basically, and he's following him around the city, and at some point he's like, I don't know, they usually get pizza over here, and and it's like, this is believable, because this is what people would do, and this is what New York was. And he goes, you know what, if I find him, hey, I'm gonna hook you up with a pizza, man. I appreciate that. And dude, that's what made Peter Parker awesome. That's what makes Spider-Man awesome here. All the little moments when he's we're walking through the streets. I don't know if you ever did a high five with anybody.
Oh yeah, I did 5 of them.
So good. It is so amazing, and people take pictures. I don't know if you noticed when you're fighting, people are actually taking pictures of it. And if you look at the Twitter feed, which is on the pause menu or the whatever, sometimes the pictures will pop up there.
Oh, I didn't see the picture.
It's amazing, dude.
I didn't see all of it.
Oh man, it's so good.
I did. I did see some Twitter feeds that they were almost like, this is a little too political, and the way that it's being expressed is almost like a hidden jab at, but hey, it gives more credit to the fact that this is happening on a present, in New York. Dude, I think it's time. You say you had your time, and you already expressed your time.
Wait.
I want to express my time.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, my part that you said that the Aunt May die was the difficult part. My difficult part was that once you fight and Dr. Octavius, and you are I guess you're clinging from not clinging, but you're basically you're a spider, so obviously
you're on the side of a building.
You're on the side of a building, and so is Dr. Octavius, and he is trying. You can see that this fight was amazing, and on top of that, they're still trying to fight it off. Even though this one felt a little bit more like a cutscene. Like, I don't know if you could die on this one. Maybe you could. You do. You could. Okay, that's hit, fine. Yeah. You can. Oh yeah, that's right. You could get. Well, anyway, the thing is, it was interactive. Mm-hmm. You were punching him at the same time that you were doing the like how could you like you were my hero, why would you turn, we tried to do things so much together, and he's constantly like every punch that he's hitting in because obviously he's trying to attack Dr. Octavius is still trying to attack him with the last vestiges of life that he has left. Spider-Man is trying to defend himself at the same time, trying to finish him, but you could tell that every punch that he hits him with, it's almost like it hurts Spider-Man more. It hurts Peter more than it hurts Octavius, because this is his friend, this is his idol, this is his mentor, and
it was believable.
And it was
set up so beautifully.
And the whole thing was that what drove it home was that because the attack, that fight with against Dr. Octavius was so brutal. That fight with Dr. Octopus was so brutal that it destroys that newly designed,
suit,
anti-oct, I think is what it's called. Suit that you have. It's like a black suit. He looks like a freaking ninja badass. Spider-Man does, and it basically destroys like the side of the face and his chest, where you suddenly see the face, the jaw and the eyes of Peter behind. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Octopus always, he reveals that he knew. He knew all along that he was Spider-Man.
That is so awesome. And real sidebar, I'll let you continue, but the fact that Octavius mentioned that he knew, and then May mentioned that she knew, it was like, you know what? Thank God. Because it's always been ridiculous that, I mean, yes, I understand people who who whatever don't know you. But these people know and love you. There's no way they wouldn't.
They wouldn't recognize.
They were okay with it, and they let it happen. And it was like, it's okay because whatever. And the fact that they mentioned it here, and it was beautifully done, especially with Octavius when he goes. He basically knew all that time.
Yeah.
But he let it happen. He's like, hey, that's fine. I'm gonna help you out. Whatever. So go ahead.
Dude, it is.
That's beautiful.
You could see through his broken visor, and
the surprise, the shock,
the pain, in a way that I don't remember seeing in games. And that this might be a little hyperbole in the sense that I might not be remembering a particular thing. But it just looks so real that I forgot that it was a game. To me, this was the Spider-Man movie that I was waiting for to watch. To me, at that point, because it had my heart was raised in it was very emotional. It was a very emotional moment, and it didn't stop there. Once he delivered the final hit, and Dr. Octopus starts falling, and he kind of falls on the side to the point where he just. He ends up inside of the same office building, thrown on his back.
Yeah.
None of his he already has his chip ripped out of his head, so he can't control his arms or anything. So he's basically defeated.
He's deteriorated enough where he really can't even.
He can't move. He can't even. Yeah, he can't stand up. And then he starts trying to rationalize with Peter. And Peter is like. Dude, again, that line, you are my hero. This is Spider-Man telling, this father figure, you were my hero. And all I was thinking of my dad. Honestly, I was thinking of my dad. It's something, it was something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So, because that's, I don't know. He's and Octopus is still trying to rationalize what his actions, trying to bring him back, trying to say, you're right. This got a little, I was out of control. I'm sorry, and you can almost feel like, okay, the defenses of Peter were dying down because, he's finally recognized he's actually coming back to being himself. But then he goes with the line, But if we join me, we can actually, we can perfect this and we can help people and this and that. And this is the part where he's
crossed the line already.
He's crossed the line. Yeah, he's no longer, and Spider-Man, unfortunately, is forced to put him, at the last scene when you see him, Octavius dressed in the orange jumpsuit at Rikers prison garbs. It's you see him so he is so almost fragile. You're saying
because he can't
because there's not he was an older dude. That's it. Yeah. You could tell that's it for him. And it was devastating, bro. Yeah. It was devastating.
It was really well.
That was my part. And then they played the as if it wasn't enough. Then they go with the Aunt May's part, and I was like, oh no, I don't think I can take it.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. I was just like, oh. It was back to back to back, and the funny thing is because the way that the story was told in the game, you don't realize how connected you are to these people until these things are happening. You realize, shit, I don't want Octavius to go there. Shit, I don't want anything happen to May. Damn it, Miles, stay safe. You know, you realize, I want these guys to be okay. And Miles, I'm so glad, dude. And of course, the reveal at the end where.
Oh yeah,
where he obviously got spit by Spider-Man too.
It has perfectly to perfectly mimic the Marvel movies. It had its two zingers at the end. You know, it had the one where we didn't talk anything about this, so this is gotta be hard. We didn't mention about Osborn and his son.
Harry.
About
Norman and Harry.
No, exactly. We didn't talk about them at all as characters.
I mean, because
they were really good.
Yeah, Norman was the mayor, and the mayor he obviously looks like he was doing stuff for his own gain and all this stuff. And what he was really doing was everything he can to save or help his son in whatever way he can. Harry Osborn, at this point, something happened to him. I don't know if it was from an experiment. Who knows after what happened with Martin Lee? Whatever the case may be, something happened to him. He's almost like in a Bacta tank, and he's being protected or something like that. And he's looking for the answer to help him. Yeah. Obviously, this is a foretelling of
This is setting up. This is setting up
Green Goblin.
Yes, this is absolutely setting up. Or is it the Green Goblin? Because you expect it almost to be. Because around it, there's the grenades and stuff like that, and of course, I think it will be.
I put money on that,
but maybe not Harry. Maybe Osborn.
Could be Osborn.
Because the thing is, you almost see when at the last scene, basically the second singer was that.
Yeah.
You see that the Osborn looking. At the glass, let's call it the Bacta tank.
Yeah, the Bacta tank.
Yeah, where his son supposedly is. You don't see his son.
Yeah, you do.
Inside of it?
Yeah, you do. He's floating in there.
He's floating.
Yeah, you didn't see him?
Okay. So maybe not clearly. All I saw was kind of like a silhouette.
He was kind of.
Yeah. But then,
I mean, I didn't see a silhouette. I saw features.
Okay.
But what I didn't see was, and this may be weird, but I didn't see anything covering his mouth. I don't remember anything covering his mouth. So I hope he's not just floating in water, drowned.
He could be. Well, be that as it may, what. You almost expect so this is setting up, for him to be the goblin or the hobgoblin, who knows? Mm-hmm. But the thing that then throws a whole monkey wrench into the whole belief is when you see suddenly like a tentacle looking thing, like the dad reaches out to the glass. And then what you see coming to reach to kind of like meet his friend is kind of like almost like a tentacle looking thing. And here I'm thinking like, oh shit, Venom! Fucking Venom! My god!
It could be.
And I start freaking out because they have taken enough liberties with the story of this game to where it is plausible. I'm not saying it is or anything like that, but it could be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be. So
realistically, so I wanted to quickly touch on some of my not so favorite parts because we have been gushing over how the game deservedly.
They deservedly,
there were obviously, open world. You're gonna have your weird little hiccups and all that. That said, I gotta say, first off, being a New Yorker, New York is off a little bit. Okay, the very north part of New York was all Harlem, and I'm going, there's a lot above that which you're not showing, but whatever.
But it has to be, the whole thing is
the whole upper section is all Harlem, and I'm going, there's a huge portion that goes further up, but that's not either there.
That part is not important. Is that what they're saying?
I guess so.
It's like, fuck those guys.
There was, and this is towards the end, there was a couple pacing issues with the story, particularly when his first battle with Octavius, leaves him injured, and he already had broken ribs from what I remember earlier.
Yeah.
And some procedure had to happen because the doctor came in, the guy who made it the antidote for Devil's Breath, and they had to do some weird procedure, and it happens, takes a little while. They never remove the mask.
No, they didn't remove his clothes. They're operating on him, or supposedly, allegedly treating his injuries.
Correct.
But it must be under all the suit, under the spandex suits.
It's laparoscopic procedures, obviously.
All I'm thinking is, imagine if I would have like one of the metallic things. That would have been like fucking, like it would have destroyed that moment because that would have been stupid.
Yeah. So, and then of course the doctor goes, he's fine. He just needs rest. And then he immediately, obviously, Parker's not going to just sit there. I have my city to save. And he gets up, and she looks like she's going to stop him. And she's like, no, you need to rest, whatever. And then he's like, oh, I got to go, whatever. But I don't know how to beat Octavius. And she goes, but you help him make the arms. And don't you think you can, fix that from there? And then that like a light bulb literally pops above his head. And then he goes, yeah, you're right. And then he goes off to the lab, and she's like, go get him, Tiger. And I'm like,
yes.
Whoa, what's happening here?
That was really
rushed.
Yes, that was a little too.
And don't get me started on the fact that he is injured, made it to the lab, and created an entire suit.
Metallic suit.
Yeah. In the matter of obviously it was seconds in the game, but let's give it 5 hours.
Let's say
that's
5
still
or 6
a long
hours.
Tony Stark didn't make a suit that fast.
Painted it black, mind you. It was like the whole entire thing was not like.
It was a little fantastical. It also threw me off a little bit that the suit that I was wearing when I walked in there was not the suit that was being displayed. What was being displayed was the originals, the special suit with the white spider.
Oh, on what? On the part of the
when he comes in to make the suit.
Oh, okay.
I was wearing a different suit. And he comes in, and the cutscene that's playing is him wearing.
I was wearing because I said right when it's about he's going OG. He's going OG. I don't want him wearing the silly things.
So that threw off a little bit. Every other cutscene was beautifully done in whatever I was wearing, regardless. Yeah. Not here. It cut back to him wearing that suit, and I'm going, that's not what I was wearing. So it was a little bit jarring. But again, forgivable. It is. Yeah, and
I know what you mean. I would have liked it a little bit more if it was something that he was working on, because that he was.
Yeah, if you would have seen it happening before.
Yeah, if it was something that maybe it was incomplete, maybe it was a prototype that was not ready or something like that, but not build it from scratch and have it
ready within minutes.
And by the way, one of the most awesome of the powers, because the power of that suit was literally. Hey, if you use all your web thing is, or whatever gadget you use completely, you just press those two buttons, activate it, and it refill the whole thing. It's like, man, I could have used this at the beginning.
You figure he would have been working on this.
I know.
I mean, maybe that's what we're led to believe. He's been working on this.
Yeah, maybe.
Another thing that I had was the actual final battle with Octavius. Not when they're on the side of the building. The actual battle on top of the building.
Yeah, the real one.
I realized that there was something different with the camera on this one, and it just threw off my game completely. The camera was, because the camera was always like focused on Octavius as you're swinging. No other battle.
I mean, it'll still follow you a little bit.
No other. Think about it seriously. No other boss battle had a camera that was constantly focused on the enemy in the middle. Like the camera was constantly on him, on Octavius. In the ones with the two enemies and with the ones with Martin Lee, it was never focused on him. I would have to move the camera to see where Martin Lee was so that I can come in. But for whatever reason, the fight with Octavius, the camera was constantly on him. So as I'm trying to swing and get out of the way, it was completely throwing off my swing.
I think it might have got stuck. I think it might have bugged on you, because
then it would have bugged on me literally 5 or 6 times. Well, I had to redo the fight several times.
Really?
Yes.
No. I didn't have that problem. I was able to beat him on my first try. It was difficult because he got.
Do you recall being able to look away?
Yes, to swing it. Sometimes I'll be able to swing out of. I mean, not completely out to you're leaving the mission area, but I was able to to swing around enough.
I was able to
not notice that.
Correct. I was able to swing around and whatever, but the camera, for whatever reason, was always angled in a way where, as soon as I came back up on the platform, I can see where Octavius was, and it was like, why is it locked on him? It's almost like there was a camera locked on Octavius. Well, why is it doing this?
Let me put it this way: if it did. You
didn't notice.
I didn't notice. Yeah. I didn't notice it, or for some reason. Because honestly, that fight to me was a lot of. I'm just gonna focus on not dying and not necessarily try to hit him because I want to get the pattern right. But at some point, I was noticing that I was grabbing the shit that he was throwing and throwing it back against it, and I was getting the prompt. So that's when I took it a little serious. But I didn't change my strategy. It was still.
I did have a weird one of the reloads that I did. I had a weird one where. I think I told you this, where he was literally just standing there. He was not attacking me at all. No matter what I did. I literally walked up close to him, walked around him, didn't touch me at all. It was like, oh, something's happening here. I'm not sure what so there may have been something odd going on. But
and to be fair, at the point that I attacked him, I had already reached the level cap. And
which
like
is what, 50?
50 at the level cap. But then you can continue sort of like soft leveling up. Yeah. It won't raise your level, but it'll give you 10% more attack power, for example, stuff like that. So I think I had that twice. So
nice.
So that could.
No, I was at 48 or something like that. I wasn't at cap, but I was just like, I don't know. It was a weird situation. Overall, though, some of the weird missions that you did with Miles and what's her name?
I was just gonna talk about.
And it was just like some of these were a little bit odd. It was like, yeah, how can it not see me?
Let me mention about this because that was gonna be my nitpick. Oh. Every time playing Spider-Man in itself was so fun that every time he had to cut into a Mary Jane or Miles mission, I felt like someone was yanking the control out of my hands. Yeah. It felt like suddenly I was forced to play another game that I did not want to play because I want to play Spider-Man. I want to be swinging and being a total badass. And their missions felt, even though understandably, I understand why.
Story-wise, it worked. Yeah.
Story-wise, it worked, and it kind of break out the pace. It's a shame that it doesn't break it in a good way. It's almost like you're forced to do this stealth missions where you're not armed. If you're caught, it's a failover status. It's game over and it throws you back.
Yep.
The game has some decent checkpoints, so you're not always back at the very beginning.
Exactly.
But just the fact that it has to load just because you were found out, it was annoying. That the worst offender was that stupid fight with Miles and Rhino.
Oh, okay.
That fight was annoying because not only did the game not tell me where to go, I kind of had to like fumble around different areas until something will open and I could go, but also Rhino will constantly find me because he was often off camera, so I cannot tell if he was looking at me. And suddenly I turn a corner, and now he realized that I'm there immediately. And also the dead animation is he runs out to you, and you could know that he is killing a kid. He is killing a kid. He is stomping on him, or he's something. I mean, it doesn't show it graphically, correct, but that's what it obviously it alludes to. So it was, a little bit too like that didn't need to be like that on the face, and also annoying because I couldn't tell where he was coming from. Like I said, so
I didn't have the issue with that particular one. Just overall,
that one I had to repeat like several times. Yeah, that's the one that.
That one, there was a section where you kind of circling and you're like, where do you go? But he never caught me while we were circling around this little square. But then I noticed that these lamps were facing a certain area. I'm like, oh, I need to go that way. Yeah, that's what it is. But he never caught me. But even still, the mission itself is an annoying mission.
Yeah, they're not too long though.
No, they're not. They're not long at all. Which blessed that they're not long.
Yeah.
But either way, they were just they were okay. And like I said, there were times where you're hiding from guards and stuff like that, and I can tell, I'm like, there's no way that person cannot see me from here. Why is he not reacting? But he's not reacting because of whatever, because he's not meant to react.
He's not in the cone of vision.
Correct. And I'm like, this is it does kind of,
it shows his gamey side.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of breaks the game a little bit there, but those are really my only nitpicks.
The good thing is that it's only a few. It's only a few of them. With Mary Jane, at least I have the thing that I could just throw to distract the guards.
Yeah.
The problem with Miles is that his distracting gadget is he has to find something to hack, and if there's nothing to hack around you, you're fucked.
Oh, even worse. Sometimes there's something to hack, and it's like, well, if I hack that, and he comes to it, it's between me and where I have to go. So
yeah, exactly. So no, this is not helping at all. Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
It's a weird situation, but overall, I cannot wait. I'm gonna get the freaking DLC because I just want to keep playing.
Oh yeah, no doubt. The DLC has my money. I can't wait to see where this go, and hopefully they'll add more. I would love if they will add suits and like interesting things.
That'd be so great.
That'd be awesome.
There's some suits that are missing. I would like to see the Venom suit, or I think it's called the symbiote. The symbiote suit.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
They're saving that though, because it's happening.
Just let it happen.
It's happening. Like, oh my god, I'll be surprised if the second game is already there.
Now, here's what worries me about the second game. Are we going to see these same suits unlocked again? Because this is a lot of suits we've already seen.
They're going to be different.
All right, it's kind of going through the library pretty quick. I'm just saying.
Well, they're gonna have to then make some for exclusive, and they can make them because they're the
velocity suit is new to the thing. So
there's some suits over there that I've never seen, and they could do homages. They can make one that is just the Atari version of Spider-Man.
The one that they did, like I said, which was clearly an homage to Sunset Overdrive, with the jean jacket and the spikes. And that became one of my favorites easily. Yeah. Became one of my favorites.
I got that for free as a free DLC for getting it from. Oh,
for pre-ordering, because I pre-ordered.
Oh, so it's the same one for everybody. I thought it was like, Best Buy pre-orders get this suit, and Amazon pre-order get this other suit. And
I did this through PlayStation. Like, remember,
you got the same. Okay, so it was the same one.
Like 3 or 4 suits early.
Yeah, you get 3 or 4. Yeah,
something like that. But
yeah, and mind you, this is not the only thing that is in the game. We didn't talk about because this will extend forever. We didn't talk about Sable.
Silver Sable. Yeah,
Silver Sable. We didn't talk about. What else? Damn, I had it on top. I had it at the tip of my tongue.
Taskmaster.
The Taskmaster. Exactly. There's a lot of content. Yeah, Felicia or whatever her name is. Black Cat.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about those characters. There's a lot of content here, but it's good. That is good content. That is not just.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's really well done. Like I said, it doesn't overstay its welcome.
It could though. If you go for everything,
correct. If you try to do everything early on, you can literally save all, if not most of it, for the end. You don't have to. If you just stick with the story, you're gonna have fun with the story all the way through. Just do a few side missions here, because some of the in between main story mission, it almost says, "Well, I got nothing to do. Let me go be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." So.
Yeah, that's true. Although. Now I don't know. Now I feel like leaving stuff for the end game for the third chapter, or what do you call it? The third act. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like out of place. Like you probably wouldn't want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get to the third act, just continue the story. You might as well just finish it, because nothing that you.
Oh, you'll get an opportunity to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's nothing that you're gonna miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Besides, everything is going to be available.
People that have listening are the people that have videos, so they've already done it.
Exactly.
So whichever way you played it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Let us know. Please be mindful. Not all people have played, so please don't post spoilers on the group. But if you want to talk to us about it, just message us. I'm pretty sure.
I love it.
We'll love to talk about. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. So, our final score. What do you think of Spider-Man in a world post God of War?
In a world post God of War, and with my nitpicks, taken into consideration, I would definitely give it a solid 9. Yeah,
solid 9.
And it was working towards an 8.5 because at some point I was like, oh, these open world little tasks are starting to weigh on me. But then, dude, it stuck the landing, bro. It stuck the landing.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It was.
And a 9 to me is great.
It was, obviously, there's no doubt. We don't even have to explain now. It stuck the it stuck to a perfect landing. My final score, I will agree with you, is also a solid 9. The reason I say this, I was very hyped up and thinking about the even say 9.5 or something like that, because I had so much fun for this game that it turned me around. It was
You're not a Spider-Man guy.
I was never a Spider-Man the biggest fan. I didn't hate or anything like that. It was I was never biggest
of the heroes. You weren't.
No, exactly. To me, it was just some dumb kid that likes to make jokes. And his powers is that he can climb walls. It's like a big deal. So because another thing is I never understood. I did not like at all the character of James Jonas Jameson.
Oh, nobody does. He's not meant to be liked. Yeah.
No, he was. Oh my god, I hate. Good job on making a character do you hate. I hated him more than any of the villains on this game. And I miss opportunity. We don't get to confront him in some way. Not that he will confront him in any way, but I almost wish that there was some sort of not confront him, not in the sense of Spider-Man directly. Yeah. No, obviously not a fight, because that's not Spider-Man. And I'm not saying Spider-Man should appear. I'm just saying something bad. Not bad in the sense of, I don't know, something that would teach him a lesson, kind of even if he doesn't learn the lesson, was something. Yeah,
he would spin it in a way where, he set me up for failure.
He was basically, he was very, very unlikable character.
I like him in the sense that I like to not like him, is what it is.
I like to not like him,
And he's
no, but he was annoying me.
He's meant to be that kind of character. He's always meant to be that kind of character. So
I was to the point that I was hoping that I didn't have to listen to him because he was getting me actually upset.
You know that?
Yeah, but then I don't. I need to play the game the way that it was developed.
Glutton for punishment.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not ducking any points for that. I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it, but I'm not ducking any points for it. The thing that I'm ducking points are for the. Even though it was super fun, I still feel like it was a very derivative game of open worlds. It didn't change
many things from open.
They didn't change the formula that much. They perfected it. They
did it better, and they made a very Spider-Man version of it.
Yes, the swing was fantastic, and all that. And but those side missions was kind of a turn off, and I still feel like there was a lot of, to me, almost nothingness happening in between with the whole story of the story with the demons, which also referring them as the demons, it's kind of silly, but of course I understand that's very comic like. That I didn't care that much about that story. I didn't care about Martin Lee as a villain. I care about the reveal at the end. Which is not that it's a reveal, but about what happens at the end is what turns everything around. Mm-hmm. I love this game. It's my game of the year. Solid 9. Awesome. Got the kick-ass seal of approval. GG seal of approval.
That's right.
If you own a PlayStation and you don't own this game, throw your PlayStation away.
You're wasting your PlayStation.
Or give it away to someone that will take more love.
Appreciate it.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with everything you just said. And I think it's amazing. I think the best part of it is how just lovable Spider-Man is. It's in itself. He is that superhero where I heard this somewhere, but basically you think of Daredevil and all these people who are also, by the way, in New York. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, there's some of the pictures you take are Murdoch and Nelson and Murdoch, which is the law firm for Daredevil, Alias. I
realize there's a lot of
Alias Investigations
that just went straight through me.
He takes a picture of Alias Investigations, which is Jessica Jones. That's her thing. So all that's in there. When it comes to those second I don't want to say second class, but the lower tier. He is the highest of the lower tier, and he's also the lowest of the A team.
Of the A team,
you know what I mean?
yes.
And I think that's what makes him.
He's
special.
graduated. Yeah, he's graduated.
He fits perfectly in there. That's what I love about him. So. But yeah, I think that's all we have to say on Spider-Man. Just go out and play it. And
damn it.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah.
Make that shit happen. All right, guys. We will see you next time on GG's Mouthful podcast.
GG.